The morning air is still. A thick mist hangs low over the water, clinging to the surface like a shroud. The world is quiet, broken only by the gentle sound of my pedal drive cutting through the glassy lake. I am on the hunt, not for a river monster, but for a smaller, yet no less elusive quarry. It is a fish of silver and fire, a landlocked ghost that haunts the deep, cold parts of these vast lakes. This is the Kokanee salmon. There is a special kind of magic to pursuing them from a pedal kayak. You are part of the landscape, moving silently, propelled only by your own power. It is an intimate, primal experience. This is fishing at its most fundamental level. Just you, your craft, and the mystery of what lies beneath. The pedal kayak is the perfect tool for this kind of work. It leaves your hands completely free to manage your rod, to watch your electronics, and to feel for that subtle, electric tap that signals a strike. You can hold your position in the wind, move forward, or even go in reverse, all with your feet. This level of control is a massive advantage when you are trying to present a tiny lure to a fussy fish deep in the water column below. The silence is your greatest ally, allowing you to get right on top of the schools without spooking them. The target, the kokanee, is a fascinating creature. They are sockeye salmon that have chosen to live their entire lives in freshwater, never making the journey to the ocean. But they have lost none of their fight or their beauty. In the water, they flash like polished chrome. When you bring one aboard, their colors can be breathtaking, shades of blue, green, and silver. And when they are getting ready to spawn, the males transform into a brilliant, fiery red, earning them the nickname redfish. Catching one is a true reward, a connection to the wild heart of these deep, cold lakes. The adventure begins long before the first bite. It starts with the journey to the lake itself, often nestled high in the mountains, surrounded by towering pines and granite peaks. The scenery alone is worth the trip. But we are here for what swims in the depths. The challenge is to find them. These fish are constantly on the move, following their food and seeking out their preferred water temperature. It is a puzzle, and your kayak is the key to moving around the board, piece by piece, until you solve it. Every trip is a new mystery waiting to be unraveled, a new story waiting to be told. Kokanee salmon are creatures of habit. They crave cold, clean, and well-oxygenated water. This means they live in the depths, especially as the sun climbs higher and the surface of the lake warms up. In the spring and fall, you might find them shallower, perhaps 20 to 40 feet down. But in the heat of summer, they will retreat to the abyss, sometimes holding at depths of 100 feet or more. They are chasing a very specific comfort zone, a narrow band of water that is typically between 45 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find that band. This is where technology becomes your underwater eyes. A good fish finder or sonar is not a luxury. It is an essential piece of equipment for the serious kokanee angler. It does more than just show you fish. It shows you the thermocline, the distinct layer where the warmer surface water meets the colder deep water. This is the kokanee's highway. Your screen will paint a picture of the world below, revealing drop-offs, underwater points, and most importantly, the schools of fish themselves. They often appear as tight balls or arches, suspended in the vast nothingness of the deep. The pedal kayak gives you a huge advantage in this search. Large, noisy motorboats can scatter these sensitive fish. Their engines send vibrations deep into the water, announcing their arrival from a long way off. But in a kayak, you are a ghost. You can glide silently over the top of a school, dropping your lure right into their kitchen without them ever knowing you are there. This stealthy approach means you can make multiple passes over a productive area, pinpointing the exact depth and speed the fish want on that particular day, a task much harder to do with a loud, disruptive motor. Finding the fish is a process of elimination. You start by studying a map of the lake, looking for likely areas like old river channels, submerged humps, or long tapering points that extend into deep water. Then you get on the water and start exploring with your fish finder. Zigzag your way across these areas, keeping a close eye on the screen. When you mark a school of fish, drop a waypoint on your GPS. Now you have a starting point. You have found their lair. The next step is to figure out how to trick them into biting. It is a game of cat and mouse played in 3 dimensions. You do not need a massive, heavy-duty rod to battle a kokanee. In fact, the opposite is true. These fish have notoriously soft mouths, and a stiff rod will simply rip the hooks right out. What you want is a long, light, and very flexible rod. Something in the 7 to 8 foot range with an ultralight or light action is perfect. This long, soft rod acts as a shock absorber. When the fish makes a sudden, powerful run, the rod bends deeply, protecting the delicate connection between your hook and the fish's mouth. It cushions every head shake and surge, increasing your chances of landing it. For your line, many anglers prefer to use a braided main line with a fluorocarbon leader. The braid has almost no stretch, which means you can feel every subtle tap and bump on your lure, even when it is 80 feet below you. It also has a very thin diameter for its strength, which helps your lure get down deep with less resistance from the water. A good choice is a 10 to 15 pound test braid. Then you connect a long leader of 6 to 8 pound test fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is nearly invisible underwater, which is crucial for tricking these sharp-eyed fish, especially in clear water conditions. Now, let's talk about getting your lure down to the fish. You could use a downrigger, but these can be big and clumsy on a kayak. A much simpler and more effective method is to use snap weights. These are lead weights that have a clip on them, allowing you to attach them directly to your fishing line. You let your lure out, say 20 feet behind the kayak, then clip on a 1 or 2 ounce snap weight. Then you let out more line to get the weight and your lure down to the desired depth. This system is light, easy to manage, and perfect for the solo kayak angler. The final piece of the rig is the lure itself. Kokanee primarily feed on tiny zooplankton, so your offerings should be small. Popular choices include small spoons, spinners, and hoochies, which are small, squid-like plastic lures. These are almost always fished behind a dodger or flasher. This is a large, curved piece of metal that wobbles and flashes as you pull it through the water. It doesn't catch the fish, but it acts as a big attractor, simulating another kokanee feeding. The fish comes in to investigate the dodger, and then sees your small lure trailing just behind it. An easy meal. Trolling for kokanee is a delicate dance. It's really not about speed, it's about precision. The perfect trolling speed is usually quite slow, somewhere between 1 and 1.8 miles per hour. This is where a pedal kayak truly shines. With your feet, you can make tiny adjustments to your speed, pedaling just a bit faster or slower to dial in the exact pace that makes your dodger and lure work their magic. You can easily maintain a constant speed for long periods, and honestly, that's something that's surprisingly tough to do with a paddle or even an electric motor. Your GPS is your speedometer, and you should watch it closely. Once you have your speed dialed in, the next variable is depth. Your fish finder told you where the kokanee are holding, so that's your target. Let's say the fish are at 60 feet. You'll let your lure and dodger out about 20 feet behind the kayak. Then, you'll clip on your snap weight and start letting out more line. How much more? Well, it depends on your speed, line diameter, and weight size, but a good starting point is a 2-to-1 ratio. So to get to 60 feet, you might need to let out 120 feet of line after the weight is attached. A line counter reel is invaluable here, telling you exactly how much line you have out. Never troll in a straight line. A straight path is unnatural and just less effective. Instead, you should troll in a lazy S-curve or a zigzag pattern. When you turn, the lure on the inside of the turn slows down and sinks a little. The lure on the outside of the turn speeds up and rises. This constant change in speed and depth can trigger a strike from a fish that might have been following but was hesitant to commit. This simple change in your path can often be the difference between a slow day and an action-packed one. It presents the lure in a more dynamic and enticing way. Be prepared to experiment. Fishing is not an exact science. If you are marking fish on the sonar but not getting any bites, it's time to change something. Don't just keep doing the same thing and hope for a different result. First, try changing your lure. Switch from a pink hoochie to an orange spoon. If that doesn't work, try a different colored dodger. Still no luck? Adjust your depth. Try going 5 feet deeper or 5 feet shallower than where you're marking the main school. Sometimes, the most aggressive fish are just above or below the big group. Keep changing variables until you crack the code. There is no mistaking the bite. One moment, your rod is rhythmically pulsing from the action of the dodger. The next, it doubles over, bent hard towards the water. The steady pulse is gone, replaced by a frantic, throbbing pull. A fish is on! This is the moment all the preparation and searching has been for. The quiet hunt is over, and the fight has begun. Your first instinct is to grab the rod and reel as fast as you can, but you really have to resist. With their soft mouths, you need to be smooth and steady. Keep the pressure on, but let the long, soft rod do its job. The fight of a Kokanee is spirited and unpredictable. They're not giants, but they fight with incredible energy. They'll make strong, deep runs, pulling line from your reel against the drag. They'll shake their heads violently, trying to throw the hook. Being in a kayak adds a whole new dimension to the battle. A strong fish can actually pull your small craft around, turning the fight into a kayak sleigh ride. You're connected directly to the raw power of this wild creature. And honestly, that's a feeling that's both thrilling and humbling. You have to use your pedals to help steer and keep the fish from running under the kayak. As you slowly gain line and the fish gets closer to the surface, be ready. This is often when they fight the hardest. When they see the shadow of the kayak, they might make one last, desperate dive for the safety of the depths. Keep the rod tip high and maintain that steady pressure. Have your net ready and within easy reach. The final moments are the most critical. You have to guide the tired fish over the net and lift it from the water in one smooth, confident motion. There is no room for error now, not after all this work. With the fish safely in the net, you can finally take a breath. The adrenaline subsides, replaced by a deep sense of satisfaction. You hold the fish in your hands, admiring its perfect form and brilliant colors. It's a silver prize, earned through patience, skill, and a bit of luck. Whether you choose to release it to fight another day or keep it for a delicious meal, you've made a connection. This is why we do it. For the challenge, for the adventure, and for these moments of pure, unfiltered success. So get out there on your pedal kayak and go chase some silver ghosts of your own. The deep is calling.